Hi everyone, and welcome to the Leo July 2021 Self-Connection Reading. Welcome! This is I Am Illuminated Tarot and meaning-based spiritual coaching services. I am Lauren. Hi and welcome. So this is one of 3 connection readings that I do for each sign each month. This is the self-connection reading, which takes a look at your connection to your unique internal individual self. There's also a spiritual connection reading, which takes a look at how you are connecting that self to your external environment and working with spirit to be able to do that. And then we take a look at your partnership connection, which looks at how you are connecting your unique individual self with the unique individual selves of others. Now, in addition to that, all of my content here focuses on demonstrating the importance of working with the Triad of Engagement, which is a coaching tool I have developed that focuses on showing the importance of working with the principles of curiosity, courage, and contemplation, and how when we work with these together, it can help unlock self-awareness as well as external awareness of purpose and place, meaning feeling that emotional connection between yourself and your engagement with everything else, everything external to you. All right, Leo, so let's jump right into your reading. So I'm going to pull the first card, which is going to be your point of curiosity for the month. So when we think about curiosity, we are, and especially being applied towards self-awareness, we are working with the concepts of optimism, openness, receptivity. So we're reopening that positive childlike sense of curiosity, tapping into awe and wonder at what we perhaps have not realized about our unique selves, or a part of ourself that we've been hiding away and which now needs to be addressed, looked at, and expressed. So I'm pulling a Power of Surrender card to get a message for what you should be keeping in mind to be curious about in relation to your connection to your internal self. Let's see here. Those are way too many cards. Let's see if I can get a few less here. So curiosity, when we think about applying that towards our external environment, often by this time, depending on how old you are, but if you are outside of being, I would say, in your early 20s, you have probably started to develop a negative relationship with curiosity, meaning that you are not optimistically receptive and open to your external environment. Through lessons learned and through direct experience, you've started to have that curiosity colored by expectations, colored by negative thought patterns. And this is where, instead of tapping into the beautiful power of awe and wonder, we tap into the I already know what will happen when I do this. Now, the same can happen internally, where we decide to stop being curious about certain parts of ourselves because we have pushed them down due to either parts of ourselves having come up and been hurt as they interact with basically anything in our external environment, be that people or events, situations, or where we just don't want to see a certain part of ourselves because we have either labeled it as negative, as a weakness, or as something that brings up a sense of frustration because we can't express it. So this is what we're thinking about when we're tapping into curiosity towards self. Really opening yourself up, but stepping into a place of receptivity to look at parts of yourself with fresh, new, optimistic eyes. So we have 2 cards that came out for you for this month. We have Surrender to Rest and Sleep. And it says, to prevent burnout, slow down, honor your need for quiet time and peaceful sleep to rejuvenate your mind, body, and spirit. And we have surrender to your intuition. Love the image of that card. It says, tune in to your inner voice. Be aware of any gut feelings, flashes, knowings, or aha moments that come through to guide you. So both of these cards are really, even though one is, saying surrender to rest and sleep, and the other one is focusing more on your intuition to gain guidance, both of these cards signal to me that this is a month of going within. And it's really hard to tap into your intuition when you are extremely busy, or when you are exhausted, or when you don't give yourself the time away free from distraction to just sit quietly with yourself. So I think when we're thinking about the point of curiosity this month, you're really going to want to ask yourself where you're not building in enough time for rest, where you are not really being in touch with your intuition, where perhaps you're blocking yourself from being able to tune into that inner voice. And I love how it says, be aware of any gut feelings, flashes, knowings, or aha moments that come through to guide you. Our intuition is directly connected to our emotional core and the spiritual side to our existence. So when we think of ourselves as unique beings, we always have this ability to tap into source spirit, which is the collective, but we also have an ability to be singular and separate from that, where we are a piece of the collective, but we are our own unique being. And where our intuition comes in is this is kind of the connective fiber. This is what allows us to have that emotional tie between feeling a greater purpose, understanding ourselves in a greater context, and also understanding at the same time that we're a unique being that needs to be honored. And when we don't tap in and really work with that muscle of intuition, we miss subtle messages that come through that are there to help align us with basically tapping into our authentic selves, bringing ourselves into alignment in a place of awareness of what makes us a unique individual, whether this is abilities, a unique need, a unique hope and dream of yours, but then being able to gain messages and clarity from your direct connection to spirit to be able to see your place and purpose in the external environment. But this has to start with the connection from within. So where you're being asked to be curious this month, again, starting with a question to keep in mind as we move through July, is really where are you draining yourself? Where are you not allowing yourself to just do this, take a nap? Where are you pushing yourself to an extent that you don't have the time to connect with yourself and to spirit? Now, not everybody is going to be a meditator, as I like to say. In fact, a lot of people are kind of either scared or put off by that word because they have specific connotations around, sitting like this on top of a mountain and oming, and that there has to be some type of ritual and you have to clear your mind and you have to. And in reality, meditation is really just you building in contemplation, quiet time between yourself and yourself. And when you do that, that's where spirit can then come in. That's where it's true, the aha moments come in. So a good example of this is when you're talking to somebody and you're trying to remember something, let's say the name of a movie, an actor, or even the name of a concept, something along those lines, and you just for the life of you can't remember it. And then all of a sudden, as you're about to fall asleep at the end of the day, bingo, you remember that actor's name or that concept or whatever you were trying to remember earlier in the day. And that's because you're letting yourself release. You're letting yourself just get to that quiet place where you can tap into source knowledge. And that is where those aha moments come through. And so what I'd be actually curious about as well this month, in addition to where you have been draining yourself, to be curious about where you are expending your energy, and to really see, okay, is it busy tasks? Is it just the day-to-day, work? Is it all focused on me overworking myself in my chosen field of work? Or is it me draining myself in just, me being 100% available 100% of the time to my family? Is it me simply just choosing not to slow down? Sometimes it's literally just that. It's not that we are inundated with tasks. It's that we just choose to keep ourselves busy. We just choose to keep ourselves going. Okay, there's one more task to fill. Okay, now I have some downtime, but I'm going to go work out. And then I'm going to come home, and instead of building in that time to just sit with myself or do something that is more contemplative like journaling, I'm going to turn on Netflix and just zone out. But this is something that I think a lot of people don't realize. When you're zoning out to watching Netflix, it's not that you are relaxing. It's that you're actually being distracted. So that's not meditative or contemplative downtime. That's not actually resting. That's not time where you can tap into your intuition. You're distracted. So this is a great point of curiosity to really look at your life and where you are draining yourself. Where are you distracting yourself? Where can you build in more time for this quiet, restful, truly that time when you can just turn off? So this isn't looking at your phone. This isn't being in social media. This isn't binge watching Netflix. This is when are you actually sitting and resting disconnected from distraction. But I'd also take a look at perhaps where in the past you have had aha moments that have come through, and to just kind of ponder and see, did you continue to work with those aha moments? Think of a time when you did kind of have that boop. God, wouldn't it be cool if, or that idea for a new project at work, or something along those lines where perhaps you did have this concept or idea come to mind and you got excited for a minute before life got in the way and you forgot about it. Be curious to see if you can tap back into that and bring that up as a point of conscious focus as you're resting and finding time to reconnect to self this month. Okay, now I'm going to move on to the point of courage. And I'm going to pull a spirit animal oracle card for that. So courage, when we're working with courage, we're working with the concepts of action and decision making. And when we're looking at this from a self-awareness, self-connection place, we are looking at where we are, basically the health of how well we are taking action in accordance to our authentic self. Meaning, are we aware of ourself and our needs and our abilities at any given time on any given day as we're making both small and large decisions, and having the courage to stand in our power to make decisions, to take action on behalf of ourself. So this really helps to prevent disconnection from self with regards to the random actions, in the day-to-day tasks. This can be a good example of this is, I always, I love to eat. I use food as an example a lot in my readings, but this would be the example between choosing to, because a partner in your life or your family wants you to get fast food on the way home from work, it's you feeling the need to cook for yourself and make a healthy meal and that's authentic to you versus doing what's easy and what you feel pressured into doing for the rest of everybody else, and including yourself in that. So meaning your family calls you up and says, oh my gosh, we really want whatever it is, Chick-fil-A, or we really want Burger King on the way home, Domino's pizza tonight. And you're like, man, I just really wanted to make myself like an awesome piece of grilled salmon and some salad. But instead of either A, making the decision to do both, so to accommodate your family's want for pizza night, but to accommodate your need for fresh food and your desire to, feel good about what you're eating, and maybe even the desire to want to cook, because that's another part of taking courage on your own behalf, is to be able to express and utilize your creative talents. You simply just say, well, everybody else wants fast food again, so I'm just going to do that. And in just making that one small concession, you have pushed down a level of authenticity behind your decision making and action taking. And to having the courage to step up and say, hey family, I really want to make salmon tonight, or mom or dad's going to be home a little late because they're also going to stop by the grocery store and pick up a healthy meal for themselves that they're going to make. If you guys want to join in, feel free. Otherwise, I'll pick up both. But it's really about, again, being aware, or being aware that if you decide to get pizza tonight, that tomorrow you're going to honor yourself and make salmon and salad, or whatever it is that you really love to eat. And this is where awareness comes into play, into you being able to really control your experience from the inside out, to really get a chance to understand what are your needs, what are your unique abilities, what do you like to do. And when you're constantly putting those aside for others, whether it be through work or family or friends, that's when we get disconnected. All right, Leo, you are just not wanting a card to come out here. Let's see, what card for Leo for courage for the month of July? I'm going to just pull a card here. This is a hard deck for me to shuffle, to be perfectly honest. It's a giant deck, big cards, got small hands. Okay, Leo. I'm so surprised that nothing is just jumping out today. You guys are quiet. Come on, Leo, you are the sign of courage. What do you need to know about courage for yourself? Ooh. Okay, got a card. Just had to goad you guys a little bit. All right. So we have Antelope Spirit. Life is speeding up. Number 2. So when I think of courage, and I think of applying courage towards action taking and taking action in an authentic way on your own behalf, when you think about an antelope is actually one of the fastest land animals. In fact, actually, I think the antelope that exists here in the US is the fastest land mammal, outside of, let's say, a cheetah or something along those lines. But I think where you're being asked right now, why you're being asked to be curious about surrendering to rest and sleep, is because in your action-taking zone, life is speeding up. I think this month, July, it's going to be a busy month for you. But where you're being asked to really be able to, and it's interesting because Cancer got a similar message that came through to me, and I'm just intuitively getting this. There's this element of being able to keep up the pace, to be aware of self through a very busy time, but also to rely on yourself, to be able to fall back and have this communion with self, to really understand as you're having to move through the month where you stand, what your needs are, and perhaps actually where they're not being met. Because we all gonna, when life picks up the pace, it's great to feel in flow and to be able to kind of join the herd and run at the same speed feels fantastic. And the number 2 is a number all about partnership and community and working with others. And so there is this element that this month you are going to be in group situations where you get to kind of be in the flow with another person or another group of people. And that's great. But this is where, in bringing that back to self, to really understand where you stand as an individual in relation to the community, in the relation to who you are working with. Because you're being asked to be curious about where you are not, where you are not allowing yourself enough time and rest and connection, quiet connection to self, to be able to then keep up the pace as you are taking action this month. So this is an action-oriented month. That's really what I'm getting. And I know it seems like you're like, but these are competing messages, sleep and rest, but then I'm going to be taking action and running. Well, a lot of times, that's the balance of life. We can't, when the pace picks up, we can't just back away and, be like, oh, I'm going to take a nap. But we have to learn how to balance both so that we can feel in flow, so that we don't go through a burnout phase and get exhausted and then we lose our flow. Or that we're not going a million miles a minute and we miss the opportunity to just chill and rest and reconnect. So this is really showing you that, yes, although this is going to be a busy month from a point of taking action and movement, that at the same time, you are meant to come from an empowered place of self-confidence and awareness, so that you can really add to that team spirit. You can add to the partnership. You can add to the group that you're working in, and that you can come as your strongest leonine self. And the beauty of that is, the more you do that, the more you tap into your own power and your own personal confidence. And the more you take action from that place, the more you're bringing yourself authentically into every situation. And generally, people really respect that. They respect when other people bring themselves confidently into a situation. And through doing that, you also get a chance to see what's really of importance to you, what you want to express, how you want to express it, and also how you can get ideas and really step up into that leadership position that I think most Leos want to be in through your direct connection to spirit. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and for the final card, I'm going to pull a card for the concept of contemplation. So contemplation is the last principle in the Triad of Engagement. So we have curiosity, we have courage, and we have contemplation. And contemplation is where we get a chance to integrate and self-educate, because this is where we get the ability to step back and connect with ourselves. So, starting off this, reading right now, I was talking about meditation and reconnection. Well, this is where we get a chance to really tap into that. And we get a chance to take a look at the consequences. We get to contemplate on the consequences of where we chose to take action. And we get to bring that back to ourselves to say, okay, what should we learn? What aspect of ourselves needs to be maybe changed a little bit or brought out? I engaged with this part of myself and I realized I got this response, and now I'm going to bring out more of this from learning that, okay, this is the reaction. Now, if the reaction was perhaps not as positive as you'd like, then learning about, okay, maybe if I express this part of myself in this way, it didn't work out so well, but I'm not going to hide it. I'm going to learn how to express it in a slightly different way. So this is how we use this as our point of learning, of continued self-education through direct experience with engagement through our external environment. So you guys have 3 cards. So I could barely get a card for courage to come out. But yeah, here we have 3 cards that pop right out for you guys. So we have, for contemplation, we have boundaries. And it says, where do you need to establish better boundaries? We have pillar of light. Your vibration is rising. You are the oracle. And we have leap. And it says, you go first, the universe will catch you. Now, I think this first card of boundaries is very appropriate when we're contemplating about what we're talking about here. Really building in time for self-connection and time for rest that you need so that you can keep the pace in group dynamics. Boundaries are really going to help with that. This is really where contemplating on your current state of affairs in your life and where you need to build in those boundaries. So if you're realizing that you're spending a lot of time all of a sudden towards work, and let's say you're working late nights, or you're offering to be on call or available at any time, and there's no set schedule, and especially if people are still working from home, this can be a very difficult environment to be able to just shut off because your office is in your home. And so there's this kind of and I know I'm guilty of it as well, where we kind of just put it out there like, oh, no worries. Like, if you need me to send that email, just let me know. I'll hear the ding and I'll just pop in there, and it's 10 o'clock at night, you're getting ready for bed and winding down, and all of a sudden you get the ding. And so this is where we have to realize, okay, what's the priority here? Is the priority really to send that email at 10 o'clock at night when no one's going to read it until 8 or 9 a.m. the next day? Or is the priority to give yourself that downtime to reconnect with your intuition and yourself so that tomorrow you might have that aha moment that's really going to help you at work, help your engagement with your team, help move you guys forward? And this is where you get to be able to act in accordance with self. Not just pushing aside yourself for the greater collective, being able to integrate both by being able to see, okay, what's more important? Where's that boundary? Now, this can be in friendships as well. This could be where you have a family or a friend who wants to, take up your time on a Saturday afternoon when you were hoping you were going to take a nap. And so this is where you have to, again, weigh up what is more important. Is it more important that you spend the afternoon going out for drinks with this family member or friend? Or is it more important that you get that chance to just decompress and sit with yourself? And only you can make that decision, but really it comes into contemplating on where you need to build better boundaries so that you can maintain a healthy sense of individual self versus the greater collective, and where you can actually put yourself in a place to gain additional insight and messages and moments of clarity that I think Spirit is really trying to get you to be able to tap into. And then we have Pillar of Light. Your vibration is rising, you are the oracle. And what I love about this card is that there is this quality, sometimes people, either roll their eyes or get excited at the card, like, oh, I'm the oracle, I'm magic, or, oh, what does that mean? For me, in this context, this is really the reason why you're being asked to be curious about your connection right now between yourself and Spirit. Because you are changing. There is something right now in your life that is being asked to have attention put on it within yourself. That there is something within you and your environment that is basically something, I think, that it's you engaging with your environment that's unlocking a new aspect of self. And in order for you to be able, and the reason why I'm saying that is because we have the card says leap. You go first, the universe will catch you. And so there's this element of change. And change always starts from within first. We can't control our external environment. We can't control other people's reactions or what they choose to do, just like we can't control what happens in our environment. We can try to take action and hope for a specific reaction, but generally that's not always the case 100% of the time. So we might want to change an aspect of ourselves, or we might want to change an aspect of our external environment, but we have to start with that change on an internal level. So let's say you really want to change some aspect about your work life. Well, first you have to change how you view work. You have to understand why your work on an external level is no longer satisfying to you and what you want to change internally. Do you want to apply a new ability or skill, or is your current work not fulfilling a specific need of yours? Is there something else that you want to bring to your current work environment that will make it feel more fulfilling and authentic to you? And so this is where that connection back to self is really going to help you see the answer to that question. But what I'm getting here for contemplation is contemplating on what part of yourself is changing. What part of yourself in relationship to your environment needs to change, needs to be adjusted, needs to become in alignment with what you want to experience or with what is changing in your external environment. Now, this can be something along the lines of you maybe just moved to a new location, could have moved homes, could have moved apartments, and suddenly this is, maybe it involved you having to take a lot of action to get there. And there's still a lot of continued action. Maybe you have to buy furniture and you have to go through all of this stuff. So your external environment has changed. And it's pushing you now to have a part of yourself be unlocked. And you are feeling that change. You are feeling that some aspect of your life, some aspect of self now has to change to meet the change in your external environment. And this is where we have to realize, okay, if something's changing, I need to be aware of it. Otherwise, I'm just going to be going, and I'm going to have no connection to self. I'm not going to see where this beautiful opportunity is coming up for me to move into something new, to be able to unlock an aspect of self I have not previously worked with. So maybe in this move, you are realizing some aspect of yourself. Maybe you've moved into your own home and you've unlocked this desire to, or maybe you didn't realize you love landscaping, you love mowing your lawn and working in the garden, and maybe in addition to that, you've realized how handy you are, that you have the ability to make small fixes, and you really enjoy the fact that you get to paint your own wall color that you weren't able to do in your when you were leasing an apartment. And suddenly now, yes, you're taking action, but you can bring that action back to an awareness of self to say, wow, I'm taking all of these actions, but I'm realizing and uncovering something about myself that I wasn't aware of before. And now I'm going to build in some time in between taking all of this action, in between me gardening and mowing my lawn and picking out paint colors and realizing that I actually can do some minor plumbing fixes and I'm a really great interior decorator, that I'm also going to take the time to sit and just be with myself. And that this is where you might get some aha moment between what you're choosing to take action on and a connection between what you can really take action on. So maybe you realize that in this move and in getting a chance to decorate your own place that you just love interior design and you never realized that about yourself. And so now you can actually have the clarity of thought to connect with the actions you've been taking, to have that aha moment, to be able to connect the dots through contemplation as to, you know what, I might pursue a career change, and I might go towards interior design. This is why, and this will be what then starts to unlock that why behind, I really wasn't happy with my job, or I didn't realize how perhaps unfulfilled I was because I didn't understand what would actually fulfill what I wanted to get out of a job environment. And suddenly now you're tapping into that simply because you're engaging with an external change, but then you're tapping in and realizing that there's this internal change taking place at the same time. Now, this can also be, I'm trying to think of another example outside of, let's say, work. So let's say it could even be a relationship change. So maybe you're getting into a new relationship, and in taking action, in coming together with this other person in your life, it's allowing you to understand something about yourself, to maybe become confident in a certain area about yourself this other person brings attention to. And suddenly you guys are going out, you're doing a bunch of things, you're taking action and, planning to go here and do this. And suddenly you're seeing something about yourself that you hadn't seen before through your interactions with this other person. But you have to then, in between those times of having this beautiful interaction with this new person in your life, be able to then have the downtime enough to see, okay, what is this person unlocking about me? What are all these actions I'm choosing to take, and all of these feelings that are coming up of excitement and passion? What is this unlocking about myself? And where can I pull away a little bit from this interaction with this other person and be able to bring it back to myself to say, okay, what am I learning in this experience? So there really is this duality this month of really understanding how you can work with others and be in partnership and be in group settings like work or family, but also what that, in choosing to interact in those different groups, what it's unlocking about yourself, and what part of yourself is actually starting to really come to the forefront as at a higher level, at a higher vibrational frequency that resonates better with you now. So again, maybe it is that interior design resonates better than your original chosen field for your career. And you never realized this until you started to take action this month and with your house move. Or in choosing to go mountain biking with this new significant other, which you've never done before, you're starting to realize, oh my gosh, I love being outside. I actually want to camp now, and I want to do all of this stuff. And you're realizing, wow, there's a part of me that's really needed to go outside, to be in nature, to push myself on a physical level. And now I need to see where that's going to take me. Now I need to be curious about why Spirit is asking me to rest and have contemplative time where Spirit can communicate with me, because I think they're trying to guide you with what you're newly discovering about yourself, to give you that aha moment of like, oh my gosh, I can combine mountain biking with my love of swimming, and suddenly, hey, I could sign up for a triathlon. It's that kind of aha moment that comes from quiet contemplation with ourselves. So we can actually, again, have that balance between quiet contemplation and taking a lot of action. And together, that's what unlocks something beautiful about ourselves that's now trying to be called up and out. So this month is really going to be a fun month for you, Leo, and it's probably some of your birthdays as well as your birthday month, or your start of the birthday season for the Leos. So I think a lot of you are going to be probably celebrating and having fun. But you are going to be seeing and unlocking a part of yourself through the interactions and actions you choose to take. Just stay open, set up those boundaries so that you give yourself that time for true, quiet, reflective time. And those aha moments are going to come through. There's going to be a breakthrough this month coming into next month that I just feel intuitively that's going to be like that ding, that's what I've been missing. That's where I need to take the leap. All right. I hope this has been a fun and illuminating message, Leo, and I hope you check out your other 2 readings, your spiritual connection reading and your soon-to-come partnership reading. If you'd like to book a private tarot reading or a personal one-on-one coaching session, the link to my website is in the description box below. Bye, Leo.